This came from a homeowner outside Columbus, Ohio. Fenced yard, motion lights, a dog that hasn't missed a sound in 4 years. He says he still checks the camera audio sometimes. He says he still can't explain what it picked up. I woke up because something moved in my backyard. Not a crash, not a voice, just wrong. The kind of wrong that pulls you out of sleep before your brain catches up with your body. I'm 34. I work in logistics. I solve problems for a living. I run numbers. I find gaps. I close them. I've lived in this house 6 years. Fenced yard, 6-foot wood fence, motion lights on both back corners, a German Shepherd mix named Rex, 4 years old, who reacts to everything. I mean everything. Squirrel on the fence. Rex is at the window. Neighbor's car door at 1 a.m. Rex is at the window. Leaf on the fence. Rex is at the window. I need you to hold on to that. I woke up and the first thing I noticed was that my chest felt wrong. Not painful, just compressed. Like the air in the room had gotten heavier while I was asleep. I lay there a second, listening. Rex wasn't making a sound. And then I heard it. Not loud, not a bang, more like weight. Something heavy shifting its position, deliberate, once, from the backyard. I sat up, looked at Rex. He was lying by the door, his spot, same as every night. Head down, eyes open, not up, not alert, just open, staring at nothing. I got up anyway, went to the window, opened it just enough to look out. The yard was still. No wind. I was looking at the trees along the back fence, completely frozen. Not swaying, not even the small branches. The little lantern above the gate my wife put up 2 summers ago. Not moving. Nothing moving. Nothing making a sound. Not the normal nighttime quiet either. Different. The kind of quiet where you realize you can't hear anything past your own breathing. No traffic, no insects, no neighbor's AC unit 3 houses down that runs all summer. Nothing. I waited at the window maybe 40 seconds. Then I looked at Rex again. Still down, still not reacting. I told myself, old house, pipes knock, wood shifts. I've heard it before. That's what it was. Closed the window, went back to bed, lay there staring at the ceiling. The tight feeling in my chest hadn't moved. I don't know when I drifted off, 20 minutes later, maybe 40, but something woke me again. This time, no sound from outside. Rex was standing up, just standing, in the middle of the room, not barking, not growling, just standing, facing the window. His ears were flat. I've had Rex 4 years. I've never seen his ears do that. I said his name. He didn't look at me. I got up and went to the window again, opened it. The yard was still empty, still no wind. But something was different. The smell. I can't fully describe it. It wasn't garbage. It wasn't an animal smell. It was metallic, like pennies. And something underneath that, something burnt, faint, but there. I leaned out further, tried to figure out where it was coming from. Rex made a sound behind me. Not a bark, a low sound, short, like he was answering a question I hadn't asked. I stayed at the window another minute. The smell faded. Rex went back to his spot and lay down. I stood there trying to decide what I'd just smelled. Couldn't place it. Went back to bed. Didn't sleep. And then, 2:13, Rex started barking. Not confused barking. Not I heard something barking. Sharp, aggressive, locked in, the kind I've only heard twice in 4 years. Once when a guy tried to cut through our yard at night. Once when a dog got into the fence line. I was at the window in seconds. Hit both floodlights at the same time. Full bright, both corners. The whole yard lit up. Grass, gate, trees, every corner. Nothing, no shadow, no shape, no place to hide. Rex was barking at the center of the yard. Not the fence, not the gate, not the trees, the center. Open grass, empty. I leaned out. Hey! No answer. I listened for footsteps, breathing, anything, nothing. Rex kept barking. I watched the yard for 2 full minutes. And then I noticed the air again. Same feeling as before. Not cold, not warm. Just still. Wrong kind of still. Like everything had stopped at exactly the same second. I reached over and turned off the floods. The yard went black. Rex stopped. Not a wind down, not a trailing growl, one bark. Silence, like a switch. I didn't go back to bed. I pulled the chair to the window and I sat there. Rex came and sat next to me around 3:30. Didn't make a sound. Just sat. We watched the yard together until gray light started coming through the trees. Nothing moved. At sunrise, I went outside, walked to the center of the yard, stood there, checked the ground. Grass undisturbed. No tracks. No broken branches on the fence line. Nothing under the gate. Gate locked. Deadbolt engaged, same as I'd left it. I walked the whole perimeter, every inch. No gap, no damage. No way in or out without making noise. I went back in, made coffee, pulled up the security camera app. 3 cameras, front door, driveway, and backyard. Backyard camera covers maybe 80% of the yard. Blind spot in both corners near the house. Everything else, covered. I went to the backyard footage, started at midnight, fast-forwarded. Nothing until around 1:45. That's me at the window, first time. I watched myself look out. Close the window. Disappear. I kept watching. Yard empty. Still. Then, 2:13. Floods come on. Me at the window. Rex barking. Yard lit up. I watched the center of the yard. The place Rex was facing. Nothing there. Clear as day. Empty grass. I watched until the lights went off. Infrared kicked in. Green tinted. Empty. I scrubbed through until sunrise. Nothing moved in that yard from midnight to 6 a.m. Nothing visible. I went back to 211, turned the volume all the way up, and I heard it. 211, 44, 1 step, weight on grass, right in the center of the yard, exactly where Rex was facing. I replayed it 15 times, same sound. Every time, nothing visible in frame. I called my neighbor Paul that afternoon, retired, lived on that street 22 years. The kind of person who knows things about this neighborhood that aren't in any record. I told him what happened. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "What time did the dog stop?" I said, "Right when I turned the light off." He didn't say anything for a second. Then, my dog used to do the same thing. I said, used to. He said, he stopped about 3 years ago. I asked him what that meant. He looked at the back fence. That yard backs up to where the Hollis place was. I said I knew that. It's just an empty lot. He nodded. Since '87. I waited for him to say more. He didn't. He just nodded once, slow, and walked back to his house. I stood there, trying to figure out what he hadn't said. I went back inside, stood in the kitchen, looked out at the yard, and that's when I saw it. Not movement, not a shape. The grass in the center of the yard, one small area, maybe 2 feet across, pressed down, flat, in a circle, like something had stood there for a long time. I went outside, walked to it, stood over it. The grass was cold, not morning cold, different cold, cold that felt like it had been there for hours. I crouched down, put my hand on it, pulled it back. My hand was completely fine. The rest of me wasn't. I stood up, walked back to the house, didn't run, just walked, went inside, locked the door, stood in the kitchen for a long time doing nothing. Rex came in from the other room, walked past me, went to his water bowl, completely normal, like nothing had happened. That bothered me more than the grass. I still live in the house. Rex still sleeps by the bedroom door. I checked that spot in the yard for 3 days after. By the second day, the grass had come back up, normal, undisturbed, like it had never been pressed down. I went back to Paul once, asked him what happened to the Hollis place. He said the house was demolished in '87. He didn't know why. Said the family just left. One day they were there, next they weren't. County came in 2 weeks later. I asked him who owned the land now. He said he didn't know. I asked him if anything like this had happened before. He looked at me for a second, then he said, "You're not the first person to ask me that." He went inside before I could say anything else. I still check the camera footage sometimes, not every night, just sometimes. When the house gets quiet in a way that feels different. When Rex stands up in the middle of the room and faces the window without barking. I check the audio more than the video now. The video doesn't show anything, but the audio picks things up, not every night, just sometimes. And on those nights I've learned not to go to the window. I just sit and wait for it to stop. It always does, so far. He sent the original audio file. Single footstep. 21144. Center of frame, nothing visible. County records on the Hollis property list a residential structure, demolished 1987. Reason for demolition, not documented. Current ownership, unresolved. He said the grass circle appeared once more, 4 months later, same spot, same cold. He said he didn't go outside that time.